Hello and welcome back to lesson 72. So lesson 72 is holding grievances is an attack on God's plan for salvation. So we've spoke about grievances before, we've spoke about God's plan, so there should be no surprises here. So every time you hold a grievance, whether that's resentment, anger, blame, you block yourself from the peace and freedom that is already available to you and within you. As we've said previously, a grievance is an attack on love, and you cannot be in love and grievance at the same time. It's the ego's way of keeping you stuck in suffering by convincing you that someone or something outside of you is responsible for your pain. But here's the truth, as we've said previously, holding on to grievances doesn't hurt anyone but yourself. When you hold a grievance, you reject love, you resist healing, and you deny yourself the peace that God's plan offers. And so there's not really anything else I want to add here other than if you feel resistance in trusting and surrendering, where can you choose love? Where can you choose peace? Where can you give up the fear, the scarcity, the lack, the separation? And I think what's coming through right now is that there's been many times, especially in my life, and no doubt yours, like Karina's and everyone that's watching this, where you really wanted something and it didn't happen. You're like, right, I'm going to trust, or I'm going to let go, and it's going to work out. And then the thing that you wanted didn't show up, or or you wanted to build a successful business, but when the business that you built didn't go anywhere, and you had to go and get a job, right? That happened with me. And at the time, it can feel like you failed, and it can feel like that God isn't supporting you, source isn't supporting you. But it was always part of the unfolding. It was always part of the manifestation to the successful business, to the dream life. No matter what path you take, it all leads to one destination, and you have to trust in that. Like I look back now at the businesses that I tried to launch that failed. If they had succeeded, I wouldn't be where I am now with Inner Bloom. Inner Bloom wouldn't exist. And I'm the happiest I've ever been with regards creating a business, with regards to the work that I'm bringing to this world. And so you have to trust again, because of the limited perspective from the ego, whilst you think that outside is attacking you, or God, like you're not God's favorite, or the universe is out to get you and testing you and giving you loads of lessons, it's all part of the unfolding. You have to trust that everything that is happening for you. Nothing is happening to you. It's always unfolding to give you everything you desire. It might just not be in the way that you thought it was going to be.
Yeah, exactly. I love that. Yeah, holding on to grievances is an attack on God's plan for salvation. Again, as Sammy said, like we've already touched on this. We touched about how like grievances appear to block that flow of that infinite light of the sun, of that infinite spotlight of love. And holding on to grievances is like, it's like this. It's like, imagine, you talk about the like flow. Imagine you're like in a river and you just allow yourself to be carried by the river. Well, holding on to a grievance is like gripping on, let's say there's a rock. Let's say you flow past the rock. It's like attempting to grip onto that rock. No, 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 no. You're like stopping yourself from moving down the river, the flow of the river. The flow of the river being the natural God's plan is this as A Course in Miracles says, the natural flow of source, the natural flow of where you actually want to be, of where you actually, the natural flow of life, the natural infinite flow of the unfolding of life. So you're going against the flow. You're trying to hold on to a branch, hold on to the rock, hold on. So holding on to a grievance is an attack on God's plan. So you can think of it like that. When you hold on to a grievance, it's like you're holding on to a rock, you're holding on to a branch, you're holding on to something and not allowing yourself to flow down that river. And grievances reject the peace that's already available to you. Like a lot of the things I'm saying are going to be the same, similar to what Sammy already said, but they're the ego's way of saying, I'd rather hold on to my suffering than accept peace. Allowing yourself to flow down that river is allowing yourself to lean back on the raft, kick your feet up, enjoy peace. Oh, this is unfolding beautiful. Ooh, I'm in love. Yes. Ooh, do, 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 do. Versus like, no, I need to hold on to this grievance and not go down the flow of the river. So you can look at it that way. Um, releasing grievances aligns you with truth. It removes the block to love. It allows yourself to flow in the infinite flow of love and peace. And grievances are active resistance to salvation. Instead of allowing yourself to be in that flow of love and peace, you are actively doing something to resist salvation, to resist the very love that will free you, to resist the very peace that you're seeking, to resist the very happiness that you're seeking. And the ego wants this because it reinforces the illusion of separation. So the ego wants you to cling to grievances. So it'll create stories that make you say, oh no, but I need to hold on to this. Oh no, but I need it to look that way. Oh no. And that's the game the ego plays because it wants you to believe in the separation, because the only way the ego survives is in the belief of separation. The way that the ego survives is by holding on to grievances. And I don't mean, Sammy and I have touched on the fact that as long as you're having this experience, there is some there's characteristics that the avatar of the human will take on. So some people say like the ego still exists. Yes, but you no longer believe it to be you. And the ego needs you to believe it to be you. The ego needs you to identify with it, to believe that the stories are you, instead of seeing your true nature, instead of seeing what and who you truly are. Because the ego knows that it has no power unless you buy into its stories, unless you buy into it as your identity. So, forgiveness is not personal. It's about the undoing of illusions. Letting go of grievances is letting go of the illusions. When you forgive, it's not about the other person. It's not about the thing you're forgiving. It's not about just you. It's about dropping illusion. Choosing peace aligns you with God's plan instead of the ego. Choosing peace allows you to get to where you desire to be in the quickest path. Choosing peace allows you to have such a beautiful human experience beyond what your ego could have imagined. So how you practice this is in the morning and the evening. You want to spend about 10 minutes and reflect on any grievances that you're holding on to and ask, do I want to be right or do I want to be free? I love that question. Do I want to be right or do I want to be free? And then on the hour or hourly, remind or say, holding on to grievances is an attack on my own peace. And then throughout the day, notice any resentments that arise and remind yourself, I release this so I can see the truth.
Love that. Thank you so much. I love that so much. Ah, do I want to be right or do I want to be free? Free every time. Free every time. I don't need to be right. Oh, that in itself, I literally just felt like the burdens like lift off my shoulders. And that's the thing. You get to be free in every single moment. You just have to let it go. And all of these lessons are teaching us that, right? It's like we're drilling it into you. And so, you can't deny it now because we're repeating the same things in different ways over and over. Even if you feel like even if you feel like you're not getting it, you are. If you've made it this far, you are. There is something that is resonating. We're already seeing within the academy, members saying they're seeing things from different perspectives. When they're in circumstances, they're shifting and they're feeling better about things, and they're not approaching things in the same way. That's growth, that's transformation, that's proof that this works, right? Imagine what it's going to be like when you finish. Imagine what it's going to be like when you do it again, because you will want to do it again, because you'll see such a transformation from the first time. You're like, I want to do it again. You don't have to, but it's the same. You do it for the experience, right? Because the same way when you read a book and you read it for the first time, and then you decide to read it again, and you're like, I did not remember that last time. Or a movie, you're like, did that happen? You notice things that you didn't notice before. It's because your level of awareness has expanded and you have the capacity to be able to understand it on a whole nother level. This is life's work. As Karina said today, or yeah, I think it was today or yesterday, they all blur into one, about the diamond bracelet. She's spent years and years mastering this, and she still has wobbles, but she's so connected to the truth of who she is. They come and they go, right? Whereas most of us are wobbling like the inflatables at the car wash. We're wobbling all over the place. Whereas Karina is so connected to the truth of who she is. She's stable, she's secure. No matter what is going on outside of her, yeah, she might get a few little shakes, but she always knows how to bring it back to herself. And that's what we're teaching you all to do. And so that is lesson 72, and we will see you back here tomorrow for lesson 73.